Okay. All right, good morning, guys. Today is May 17th, and as usual, we'll be going over analysis for US 30, gold, and EU. So as we wait for the first 10 minutes in the market to stabilize so that we can start looking for trades, let's just do a quick review of yesterday. So yesterday we took a loss on US 30. So the first trade we took yesterday on US 30 was a loss. So this one right here. So we lost 0.5% for this trade. However, my bias for US 30 was still bullish until the hourly candle, until we got the hourly candle closure below the static trend line. So I did mention my conditions for changing my bias for US 30 yesterday was if, so this is the trend line we were trading yesterday. So I did mention, so during the live session yesterday, let's see. Also, I don't do buy signal. I don't do buy and sell signals on the live session. Okay. So this is the trend line we were trading yesterday. For this hourly candle that broke below, I did mention for me to change my bias to sales for US 30, I needed the next candle, which would have been this one, to break, to retest and close below. So we did get that retest and closure below, which is why, and I did identify the sales on US 30 during the live session. So we started off with this filler trade right here, the bigger trade, which had 1,000 pips TPA and I'm sorry, yeah, 100 pips TP and 100 pips stop loss. And then I did identify where you'd enter the second trade, which is why I drew these markups right here. So I did mention that if we had a break below the daily bearish low and then a retest and closure below, we would get a dump on US 30. So for here, we got, so price went back up, closed below the daily bearish low, but however, price went back and closed above. Then we had this major candle here that closed below the daily bearish low. And again, this next 5-minute candle closed above. So we didn't get a confirmation there. So when I saw this pattern, and I've seen this pattern time and time again for US 30, because here you have a lot of people trying to catch the bottom. So I learned, especially for US 30, just stay with the trend. Don't try to catch any bottom or any, especially if you don't have any proper confirmation. So the confirmation for the sell came with this candle closure, this hourly candle closure below the static trend line, and then the next hourly candle retesting the static trend line and closing below. So that was already validated. So at this point, I was just looking for now an entry. Where can I enter the sells on US 30? So I kept waiting and waiting. So then we had this other candle that closed below the daily bearish low. Then you had this candle that retested and closed below. So that this was entry number one right here. But for me, I decided to wait a little later in the day. So whether you entered on this particular candle right here or you entered below here, you can see US 30 ended up dumping. So here what you had is like a bunch, the sellers just faking out all of those buyers. And you see eventually this drop led to, and this second trade, I said this was to recover the first loss we had. So this trade would have gotten you back to break even. So which is why I said always have a set stop loss and TP, because if you never set stop loss on this first trade, you would have suffered yesterday on US 30 because it kept dumping and dumping, but we did ultimately get a reversal. So this is why you always want to trust the strategies, trust the trades, enter with a defined TP and stop loss that I give you. And then if the stop loss hits, wait for the next trade. There will always be a next trade. So this trade right here would have gotten you back the 0.5, would have gotten you back the loss that you would have made. And then the filler trade would have made you 0.125%. So yesterday for the day, we had ideally 0.125. Looks like this one didn't. So this is minus 0.5 is the loss that we took. And then we had a 0.5, which brought us back to break even. I thought updated this. But yesterday would have ended the day at 0.125% because we had one losing trade, one winning trade in the same risk percentage, and then the filler trade that hit TP for 0.125%. So always when I say have a defined TP and stop loss, don't try and go against. There's a reason, because all my strategies, I have reviewed them and I've seen how far price can go. So if you want to do mental stop losses, I mean, that's on you, but I try to advise against those. So for US 30, you can see US 30 for you guys who have access to my charts. US 30 rejected off of supplies, off of demand zone within a demand zone down here. And then, so I'm having an indicator developed that's going to automatically draw this supply and demand zones. Wait, this is on the live. Oh, okay. And also draw my order block markups. Looks like we don't have any markups. What happened to? Geez, give me 1 second. I know I deleted the ones on the hourly time frame. Let's see, give me 1 second. Hopefully they didn't auto update. Just a second. I was trying to clean up the charts a little bit. So just go ahead and leave. Okay, so this one, yeah, this one has them daily bullish. Okay, perfect. So this one has it. So the indicator I'm having developed, it will have all these markups on the chart. So the order block markups, the bullish highs, bullish lows, and bearish highs and bearish lows, and also the supply and demand zones. So this indicator again is being developed as I would mark order blocks. So it's going to be developed how I do it. So it's going to save time on my end because I spend like 2 or so hours to do this. Yeah, so it's going to save time both for me and for you guys who have access to my charts. The other best thing about it, this new indicator can be used on any instrument. So you can use it on GU, Bitcoin, and all of that, ideally having the same markups I would draw if I was able to draw markups on all instruments. So for right now, we still have this static trend line that was broken yesterday. So remember, I did mention yesterday that price will almost always retest a static trend line. So for US 30, US 30 right now is in a bullish trend. So I'll go here and draw my trend line from this. This is my trend line right here. And then this is a trend line to the upside. So these are trend lines that I love drawing, ideally equidistant trend lines. So for this trend line, I'll draw it from this high right here. So I like trend lines that are ideally equidistant. So for here, I'm actually, and we did have a golden cross earlier on for US 30. So right now I would be looking for a buy on US 30 to ideally go and retest this trend line to the upside. Now, where is the best part to buy or time to buy US 30? So we do have a retest of the trend line that's currently happening. So right now, I would rather wait for closure above the 9 EMA on the 5-minute in order to have a confirmation for a buy on US 30. So I will wait right here. And let me see, ideally we do 50 pips TP, 50 pips stop loss. I would ideally want my stop loss to be well below this 200 EMA. So for this trade, I'm still going to go for, so in recent days, we've been going for 100 pips TP, 100 pips stop loss for US 30, which is a bit high, but all ideally those trades have been hitting. But for this trade, you want your stop loss to be below this 200 EMA. So remember, after a death cross, price is normally supported by the 9 EMA and at most by the 200 EMA. So you don't want your stop loss between the 9 EMA and the 200 EMA. So when I get a entry closure above the 9 EMA on the 5-minute, I will take a buy on US 30. And then ideally, I'm targeting this static trend line on the hourly. So if you can see it, it's around 212. So our TP is far above 212. So you might want to cut your trade at the height of this trend line to the upside. But let's just wait and see if we'll get an entry for that. Does anybody have any questions? All right. So this one is still there, but this one only has that. Okay, give me 1 sec. I think I have the wrong, because some of these charts are missing my order block markups. Yeah, but this is the trade right here. I'm waiting for US 30, and this is why we need to wait for confirmation. Personally, if it does get to the 200 DMA, I might enter in with a fill a lot size. Yeah, but give me 1 quick second. Let me try and reload this chart. So find the one that I need to use. Gold. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. Oh, I know what happened. Okay. Um, give me 1 second. Let me check something here. You know what? I will do this. Share screen. Okay, and also, so for gold yesterday, I did mention that I was looking for the reversal. So I did take this reversal on gold as much as it's in drawdown. So this is the reversal I took. I took it on the 5-minute. So if you go here, I entered using, so this was buys only 30. For gold, this should be 50. So this is the trade that I took on gold, this buy right here. It's almost hitting stop loss for me. So for this trade, if I get taken out of this trade, because that was what was my point of interest? My point of interest was actually here. So I need an even number. So around 2010 area. So 2010. And then a trend for me on gold is 150 pips, so a $15 move. So this would have been yeah, so this would have been here, 10 minus 5, you have 95. So 95. And then this is 150 pips. All right, so for this one, I just waited for a buy signal and I entered. I was up at some point close to 40% in profit, but for this reversal trades, I either let TP hit or stop loss hit. For this one, I went in with 100 pips TP and 100 pips stop loss because, as usual for reversal trades, I go for double the lot size. I did not scale in any of this buys because my strategy for the reversal strategy, if you hit stop loss on the 5-minute time frame, then you proceed to the higher time frames like the 15-minute time frame and the 30-minute time frame, and then re-look for a chance to enter that trade. So you can see right now, since I entered that trade, since the trade is still valid for me on the 5-minute entry and I'm still in the trade, if I hit stop loss on this trade, there's no other buy signal that has shown up on the 15-minute for gold. So if I get stopped out on this trade for gold, I'll not FOMO in, I'll just wait for a buy signal on the 15-minute time frame and re-enter that trade. Same thing, 100 pips TP, 100 pips stop loss. In any case, I might increase the risk because now the probability for that buy going into profit will be high. So this is the reversal that I'm in. I am also in a bunch of breakouts. So for this sell, I don't enter trades that come up before New York Open. So that's another reason why I mentioned to you guys. So as much as you're looking for trades that are 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 3 a.m. What is it? 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Avoid trades. So similar to, I've been talking about this, similar to other, the reason why I don't send out trades an hour before or 30 minutes before New York Open. Don't also look to enter breakout entries like 30 minutes or 1 hour before New York Open. So I guess I'll put it this way. Look for trades 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to what? To 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'll find a way to, I know there's a way you can add to, yeah, nope, not there. Probably something in there, but I'll find a, since I'm still testing this, I'll come up with all those timings. But at the very least, look for trades 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So hopefully that makes sense. So avoid trading the period between New York, mid New York to mid Asia. So avoid looking for breakouts at that point. Okay, let's see. So I took a bunch of them and I did send you guys how I did on those. So if you look at my results for today, I'm already up again, day after day. So, and I'm not doing anything different that you guys don't have access to, especially the ones who have access to all of this things. So you can see all these trades, Euro CAD, Euro AUD, US 30, all of these were breakout entries. So you just have to trust the trade and just let it go. So this is why I mean to wait for confirmation. So if we entered this trade, what happened yesterday would have easily happened in like 5 minutes. So this is another reason why you need to wait for proper confirmation, because you can see everything is dipping. I think I just got stopped out of the gold. Yeah, so I just got stopped out of this trade. So in this case, I move away from the 5-minute time frame because gold can keep going down. If you do look on the hourly time frame, gold did complete structure. I think that's where it is right now. So look at that. So gold did complete this structure to the downside right here, moved up, and then you expect it to come back and complete structure around where it is, 1980, 1978 area. So right here, I do expect some sort of retracement on gold. However, I'm not going to enter anything. I'll just wait for my own confirmations to show up. And I did, for this charts, I did lose some of the markups. I'm going to try and do them on my other screen. The bullish and bearish markups. So for gold, what do we have? We have this trend line to the downside right here. And then from the upside, I really don't see a valid trend line to draw, because if we draw this, it will ideally be breaking. Actually, no, it is valid because it was broken to the upside. So that's fine. That's on the hourly. On the 5-minute, we have, this is a tricky one to draw, but I'll draw it this way. And then we, from the upside, yeah, I still don't like this. So I'd rather another lower high to be created because I like trading equidistant trend lines. So those are the trend lines we have for EU. This is what we have on the hourly right here. And you can see where price is rejecting exactly from that particular trend line. And then we have this. So these are good trend lines. On the 5-minute time frame, I really don't see anything. Price is just consolidating for EU. However, we do have this. We only have one trend line to the upside. To the downside, I really don't see a trend line worth drawing. Yeah, no, I'm not going to draw that. Yeah, so for the only trade I'm looking for is this US 30 trade. My bias for US 30 is still bullish. We just need to wait for that confirmation. Now, the only other thing we need to look at, we do have a death cross forming on US 30. So yeah, give me a quick second so that I try and see if I can find my order blocks again, because I do have them on another chart. I just don't know why they disappeared on here. But if you guys have any questions regarding any strategies that we are going over, please let me know.
So I got a quick question about the death cross. I hear you mention that a couple of times. That's when the 200 EMA passes the 9 EMA?
The 9 EMA passes the 200 to the downside.
To the downside. And
Yeah.
so what's the significance of that? Like either a big reversal, a push up or down when that happens, or?
Yes, so death ideally means dying. So well, of course, you expect when a death cross forms, you expect price to push to the downside in the short term. Hopefully in the long term, if you have a good bias. If you have a golden cross, same thing, you expect price to pump up. So at the very least,
Okay.
you expect a spike in liquidity in the first 10 or so minutes of a death cross or golden cross forming.
So a golden cross is the opposite then. That's when the 9 passes the 200.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. And it's just not the 9 or 200 EMAs. So it's any lower time frame EMA crossing a high time frame EMA. So for me, the 9 EMA is a lower time frame or low lagging EMA. And is it low lagging or it's whatever EMA is closer to price. So it's a golden cross is when a fast moving EMA crosses a low moving EMA to the upside.
Okay. And that indicates a buy.
Does not necessarily it let me put it this way, it indicates possibly buyers are in town or buyers are taking.
Possibly. Okay.
Yes.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
If you guys see any other trades for any other instruments, let me know. At this point, this is just a waiting game. You can see gold is definitely coming into demand zones, but that doesn't mean anything. They can use these demand zones as supply zones to break price down, and then eventually use them to bring price back up. So let it just keep going down. I'm trying to correct the bullish and bearish zones that are not appearing on this chart. So that's why I'm not really looking at anything right now.
Sorry, Michael. Just to confirm, were there any of the videos that earlier on where you went through how to like build the order blocks? So I can go back over them.
Yeah. So if you go the first 5 videos that I have on YouTube, the first 5 live streams, you should get how I draw order blocks. Ideally, you're looking for the last. How I normally do it, again, drawing order blocks is relative. How personally I do it, I look for the last candle before a trend formed. So if there was a downtrend that formed, I look for the last bullish candle before the downtrend formed, if that makes sense. If the trend was bullish, I look for the last bearish candle before the bullish trend started. So that's personally how I do it. Other people do it differently or may do it differently, but that's how I found that works for me. And then I just so for example, for that candle, so let me see if I can do this on the hourly time frame. So this is the hourly time frame. I know I normally change the color of my candles, so let me just do the basic candles. So here, this is clearly a downtrend to me, right? So from 2012 to where price is at right now. So what I'm interested in is the last bullish candle before price started the trend. So to me, this is an automatic hourly bullish high, and then the low of that candle is the hourly bullish low in my markup. And then for me, when I draw the order blocks, so here you can have a lot of hourly order blocks. You can have a bunch of them. But for me, what I do, I draw the order blocks that are next to where price is at. So I can possibly have another hourly. So here, this one right here, this is another hourly bearish. Did I say bearish? I hope I say bearish. This is another hourly bearish high and bearish low. But if I were to draw all the hourly bearish or hourly bearish order blocks, I would just, because how likely is it that price will go from here and all the way up to here? So I draw the order blocks that are closer to where price is at. So I look for one pair of bearish order blocks and one pair for bullish order blocks per time frame. And that's also what I'm having built into the indicator that I just sanctioned one of my programmers to start building today. Yeah, but that's in short, that's what I do. I look for if there's a downtrend, I look for the previous bullish candle before the downtrend started for each time frame, and then I mark that as a bearish high and bearish low candle for that time frame. So in a nutshell, that's how I do it. But yeah, if you go on the first 5 or so live streams that I have on YouTube, I went over it, and ideally that is just what I just showed you right now, if that will save you time.
Okay, thanks.
So US 30, so still waiting on this. So let me see, looking at because I have another chart that has what is it, the order blocks. That's why I'm trying. So I've been trying to clean up my charts because I was like, there's no need for me to have order block markups on the 5 minute and the 1 hour. And ideally it's the same thing. So I deleted them on the 1 hour, and somehow it deleted some of them on the 5 minute. So that's what I'm trying to correct. But we do have a so actually our bias for US 30 might change. We do have that daily bearish low that's here at 33,107 area. So we do have and we do have a death cross forming. So actually my bias right now for US 30 is changing, because for me the daily zone overlaps everything. So this is the sell that we got in. So we didn't take this buy because it was invalidated. So right now I am looking for the sell on US 30. Now this right here is a daily bearish low. We do have a death cross that's forming. Now, as much as we're in demand zones, the daily bearish low overrides all these demand zones, because I'm pretty sure when I was drawing them this morning, these demand zones were not on the daily, they were on the 30-minute, 15-minute, and maybe hourly. So the daily, this daily bearish low here overrides all of that. We also have a Friday low right here and a previous weekly low. So in any case here, I'd be looking for the sell. So this is, give me 1 second. Let me see how I want to do this. We also bearish on US 30. So because price is both below. So when you hear me saying we are bearish on US 30 or we are bullish, I'm looking at where price is at. So if price is below the 9 EMA and 200 EMA, that means we are bearish. When price is above, that means we are bullish. And also I did, of course, my stop loss at break even for those 25 lots got taken out, but I'm already up. Did I hit stop loss on something else? Give me 1 second. Today it must have been gold. Yeah, that gold took a good chunk of my profits. So now I'm only up like 0.8%. So for this trade right here, we want our stop loss to be, so we have this daily bearish low here. I want to see what the stop loss will be. So this one, ideally, we are entering based off of the golden cross. I'm sorry, the death cross. So we need a retest of the 9 EMA. Ideally, that's what we need before entering. And preferably, we want price to stay below this daily bearish low. So let me just mark this up. Bearish low. Also looking at the hourly time frame, what do you see? We had this hourly candle that just reclosed below the 9 EMA. So the premise behind entering this trade is, as much as we still expect this trend line to be tested on the upside, we have a daily bearish low here that takes over the demand zones that we could have used to ride price up. And if you look at these candles, when you see a lot of candles with a lot of wicks, it's telling you a story. So here you can see there's a big fight between both the buyers and the sellers. But right, if you look at the zone, what is around you? A daily bearish low. So when you do the probabilities, you have a daily bearish low, you have a death cross on the 5 minute. As much as the previous golden cross was only, what is it? Actually, it was 5 hours ago, right? 5 hours ago. As much as it was 5 hours ago, you can see when the golden cross happened, you had divergence of the 9 EMA and the 200 EMA. So you didn't have a lot of consolidation. So here, the confluences for me that I have, daily bearish low that overrides all this green that I'm seeing. So at this point, I'm not even looking at the green. And then we have this death cross on the 5 minute. And then at this point, we're just waiting for the retest of the 9 EMA. So while trading a golden cross or death cross, you don't have to wait for closure above or below. You can enter on the retest. Now here, you also want to make sure at what point where is price relative to your entry, right? So you don't want to miss a trade because of 3 or so pips. So trade is, so for this one, I'll prepare my trade manager. I will do 50 pips TP, 50 pips stop loss, and I will give me, I'm not yet in, give me, there goes the entry. Risking, so for this trade again, risk 0.5%, and I am in that trade right now, the sell on US 30. So let's see how that goes. So we want price to be held down by the 9 EMA. We want this daily bearish low to hold price down. And actually, this might be a new way to just be showing you guys the charts. I just show you guys the naked charts and then copy some of these zones from my other chart. Anyway, I'll think about that. Okay, now so you also want to see where can price go, right? So the other if you look at where price can go from this, so remember for this trade, risk no more than 0.5% for that trade. If it does hit stop loss, that's fine. We'll wait for another trade. So you want to also look where can price go. So we have this static trend line. We also have a high low or lower high here, which is an area of structure that's holding, or that should hold price to the downside. So in the meantime, I'll just go back and try and get this order block markups on the charts. Make copy. Save this. There you go. Trying to see where this is. And this is the same thing they did in this zone yesterday. So for you guys who entered the sell, the second sell of the day, the second sells of the day, there was a bunch of ups and downs around this zone because you had buyers trying to hold price up, and then you had sellers trying to take price down. But eventually, when they get this volume from this daily bearish low, they will spike price to the downside. And since we're doing 50 pips here, TP should get hit in like 2 to 3 candles. So we just need this daily bearish low to hold. We need this 9 EMA to keep holding price down, and then we should be good for continuation of the selling pressure. I think you have a question. Are you in a sell on the 5-minute? Yeah, I always enter my trades on the 5-minute. I don't enter trades on any other time frame. Yes, 30 live. Order blocks. All right. Oh, I think I saw what happened when I removed the the drawings on the 1 hour time frame. It just took them to I really want to be trading with both the 5-minute chart and the 1 hour. So see if I can find a way to change this.
Michael, so with your risk to reward profiles, I know sometimes you say like you might double the take profit, but then why do you also double the stop loss instead of trying to get a higher risk reward other than a 1-to-1? So say for example, instead of using like structure as a point to maybe, okay, the stop's just below the last swing low or important structural reference, you'll sort of keep it as a 1-to-1. The only reason I ask that is just because with 1-to-1 risk to reward ratios, is almost like if you win one and then you lose one, it cancels it out. Whereas say if one was 1-to-2, you win one, but then you lose one, but you're still in profit overall. Is there any like method behind why you sort of keep it standard 1-to-1?
So I mean, good question. So when I started trading, the person that I was following was using a negative risk to reward. So they were risking 3% to make 1%, which ended up, blowing a bunch of my accounts. Now, the reason for this is I'm a scalper, and also the asset that I'm trading. So for US30, based on what I've seen, US30, unless you catch, the only time I can possibly, or the only instrument I can possibly, actually not only instrument, the only strategy that I can rethink to increase my risk to reward to maybe 1:2 or 1:3 is my reversal strategy. Because the probability for reversal strategies is high. It's probably even 90%. But you can see I did hit stop loss on gold today. But the reason for that is, so I'm still working on it. I definitely want to have like an increased risk to reward, but currently the 1:1 works for me. Because I'm trading quick moving assets like US30, and the other reason for that is that I have a bunch of strategies. So I have the breakout scanner that I can use. I have the reversal strategy. I have these live trades that I'm taking during the day, and I also have signals. So if I do take, like the loss we took yesterday, we took that loss on the live session. It wasn't a breakout, it wasn't anything. It was just a trade I identified on the live session. And then I got another trade. You're right. If you lose one, you need one more to recoup your loss. So I got another trade to give me back my money, or the percentage that I lost. So right now I'm comfortable doing 1:1 because I have all these strategies. If I lose on the live session, guess what? I'll just come here on the breakout scanner and see, oh, Euro JPY is breaking up to the upside. So I come here, I analyze Euro JPY, and the breakout scanner will give you like maybe 20 entries in a day. Signals, you get 30 signals in a day. So I'm still yet to learn how to do like 1:2, 1:3. Keep in mind, I'm still learning. So here I'll come on the 1 hour. I'm sorry. So 15-minute time frame. Okay, this is what's happening on Euro JPY. Euro JPY is reversing. If we go here, what do I see? I see structure possibly being completed up to 149, 171. So in any case, this is a buy that I would take on Euro JPY, which I'll actually enter right. Wait, it actually closed. So normally for me, so this was the entry right here. Right here for Euro JPY, because the buy was on that candle. And for this one, I tell you guys, I do double what I do. So still the same 1:1, 400, 400. And then I would make my money on this. So the reason I'm good with 1:1 for now is because, and I'm not in this trade, it's a bit too late to enter into that trade. So the reason I'm comfortable doing 1:1 is because I have like 10 different strategies, or whatever, 5 different strategies. If I lose one, it's not so hard for me to find a trade to recover to. Now, for other people, they have maybe a 1:7. If they lose that trade, they have to wait like 3 days or 4 days before they find another trade. So hopefully that makes sense why I use a 1:1. Not to mean that, you should use a 1:1 also. For any of my trades, you can do 1:2, but also the TP and stop loss that I've given is what works with my strategies. So my strategies work, my entries work with a 50-50 for US30, 20-20 for FX pairs, 50-50 for gold as well. When you get into the reversal and breakouts, right now this trade should be at break even. Go ahead, set either secure half and set break even, or just set break even. So this is the importance, right? You can see that fake out right here. This is the same thing they did yesterday. So, but for this one, personally, I'm just going to set break even. I'm going to write the trade till full TP, because gold ate like 5% or 0.5% of my profit for today. So does that make sense why I use a 1:1? Ideally, is because I have a lot of winning strategies. So I'm not.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, so this trade, so you can see, right, Wix always tell you a story. So here to recap, where did we enter this trade? Yes, we were looking for a buy up here. However, we were looking for a buy. Here's where we were looking for a buy, and I said we would rather wait for closure above the 9 EMA to get into a buy. The reason we are looking for that buy is so that we can write price towards this trend line, because we know that what happens when we have a static trend line, price almost always retests a static trend line. Now, we did not get that entry. Also, another reason we entered the buy, we are in an uptrend, or we were in an uptrend, and price at that point, we were still in the trend, in the uptrend. Price came from a demand zone. So you need to look at where is price coming from, where is price going. So that buy did make sense. However, I always say, let's wait for proper confirmation. And just by waiting, you can see we avoided like getting faked out yesterday. So when price came down here, I saw, okay, we have a daily bearish low here. So that overrides all these green things that I'm seeing here. So that does, that does nothing to me. Okay, I saw we have a possible death cross forming on the 5-minute. And then I also saw that we have this daily bearish low. So I have enough confluences. I just waited for the retest of the 9 EMA. They tried faking sellers out right here, or just trapping buyers in, and then they brought price all the way back down, and we went to about 90% of our profit target. So the only thing to be cautious of here, so we got into this death cross early. So the only thing, remember, after our death cross, so right now we should see a spike to the downside for a take profit to get hit. But normally, remember, when a death cross is forming, you normally expect a retest of the 9 EMA or 200 EMA. So also expect a retest of the 9 EMA, and there you go, right? When that cross is forming, you get a spike down to in profit, or towards whatever direction you're doing. Also, I am also working on a tool to identify death crosses and golden crosses for you guys based on my strategies. So remember, I told you guys, right? This subscription, like eventually some of these subscriptions will go up in price. Like the indicate, if you look at the value you're getting for indicators only, is just 99, and there you go, full TP on US30. Indicators only is just $100 a month, and I said you'll get access to all indicators I'll ever make so long as I'm alive. Now, I've been spewing out indicators week after week, week after week, and I did say for the first 50 people, for who have like at least 6 consecutive months, you lock in this price for life. I can guarantee you, when we get this group to like 1,000 people, I will, at that point, I'll have like maybe 10 or 15 indicators, and there's no way I'm going to continue charging $100 a month for an indicator that gives you, for example, the breakout scanner indicator that can easily make you 1,000 in a trade or something. I'm not going to continue charging $100 for that. So in the next 1 or 2 years, I see this being worth like 500 or 400 a month, based on the value that you'll be getting. But that's the importance. Again, you don't need that because if you're on the live session with me, you could have easily made money with this. But I will make I will get my programmer to make an early entry strategy for death crosses and golden crosses, and that way we can also use that. Now, for those death crosses and golden crosses, now those are signals you can copy directly to your MT4, because some of the issues of these are the signals that we have. As much as we get 20 a day, if you choose to copy each and every one of this, you might end up at break even for the day or slightly below break even. Now you have to find a way to selectively pick what signals.
Hold up, wait, did we miss the goal entry for the buy?
No, there was only, unless it came on the 15-minute time frame. No, so it's on this candle right here. So the buy is on this candle. No, wait, that's the 5-minute. No. So for me, I got stopped out on gold. I have to wait for the 15-minute time frame. So there's no entry. Well, it depends on what strategy you're looking for. On the reversal strategy, if you did not enter this buy and you did not enter this one and this one and this one and this one,
Yeah, I got
sure.
out of all of those because I was waiting for it. It didn't hit the auto block I expected still, so I'm a little leery still, honestly.
Yeah. So for me, there's no entry on gold. For me, I'm waiting on the 15-minute because I got stopped out. So maybe on the 5-minute, there's nothing. Unless you are trading demand zones. Let me see what order blocks are around here. Again, I have to go to my chart. I don't have any order blocks for gold, even on the chart that I didn't delete them. So for me, there's no entry on gold.
I was expecting it to go to the 170 area, 1970.
Yeah. Now, when I say there's no entry on gold, I mean based on my strategies. There's definitely entries on gold from this demand zone within a demand zone. But personally, not to say that there are no other entries out there on gold, but personally, if whatever it is, if whatever confluences that you have are showing you a buy for gold, then go ahead and enter the buy. But for me right now, I do not. And gold, yes, is turning bullish. But for me, I'm waiting. This is what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for a buy signal on the 15-minute time frame for the reversal so that I can enter. So whether it's going to be down here, whether it's going to be up here, I'm still going to enter that. And also, what do I see on the 15-minute time frame, right? This right here, left shoulder, possible head, possible right shoulder to be formed, and then that way. So yeah, so for me, it's just a matter of patience. I already, this gold trade took away 0.5%. I gained 0.5 back from this US 30 trade that we took. So now here you can still trade the death cross. So the death cross has formed. So you can enter this trade. You can enter again on US 30. Because how do we trade death crosses and golden crosses? We wait after the cross has formed, we wait for a retest of the 9 EMA. Now for this one, I'm not going to enter it because I've already made money. I ran the entry, but if you are to look for the entry, you just need to wait for this retest and then stop loss above the daily bearish low, above the 200 EMA. But now, if you guys want to test it out, we can just test it out with a 0.125% risk because we're already up 0.5 for the day. So for this trade, just to show you guys how to enter it, how to enter crosses, because remember, after a cross is formed, always expect for the retest of the 9 EMA or 200 EMA. So for this trade as well, use 0.1. And for this, even for me, I'm going to be disciplined and only use 0.125%. I was going to go heavy, but I'm already back to being up 1.5% for the day. So for this trade, yeah, like even for me, with all the profits I've made, I'm only risking $250 for this trade, and I just made like $2 grand on the other trade. So oh, there was the entry. Let's see if it comes back up. So we are looking for that retest of the 9 EMA, which already happened. Let's see if, personally, I did miss it a little bit. So I want to see if price will come back up and fill me in. Again, for this trade, use a 0.125% risk, and I just entered that trade. So let's see how this trade will go. So that's how you trade a death cross after it has formed. And also that's the same way you'd trade a golden cross after it has formed. So for this trade, if you took the win with me on the previous trade, no need to risk, because this is just a demo for you guys. No need to risk the profits you made. So for this one, even for me personally, literally I'm risking $250. So I'm only risking 0.125% for this trade. So let's keep going. Gold, as much as it's
Sorry,
tough.
Michael, you were in the middle of saying something before. I'm not sure if you were able to go back because it sounded like it was going to be useful. I know you were talking about maybe taking all the signals, but then how to filter them out. I think you were mentioning something on that before.
Oh, yeah.
The question.
So, okay. So I was talking about that. Okay, perfect. Yeah, thank you. So when I did take all these signals, I found that I was ending up at break even sometimes, and that's why I, for example, stopped taking or replaced GJ 15-minute signals with 5-minute signals, and then I do not take Bitcoin signals because I just end up at a zero-sum game. I end up having a buy right now, and then 15 minutes later I have a sell. Shout out to Livy. Livy sent me some info yesterday that I haven't gotten to, that I can backtest and adjust the Bitcoin signals. Now, I found that gold, US 30, and NAS signals were more profitable, ideally because they move heavier or they move faster. So in the account that I was having that was copying signals, it was only copying gold, US 30, and NAS signals. Now, when I started working on my EA and DOL, I needed more room to test other new things because I'd already found that gold, US 30, and NAS signals were not perfect, had a better win rate. And also, you need to catch them. So same thing with the time. For these strategies, look for entries 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then start again at about 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, the thing I'm talking about with this, so there's that indicator that's being made for my chart markups, and then I said I'll make one for how to enter, or for the one to enter golden crosses and death crosses. So for that one, the reason that it might be a little bit more profitable is because how often do death crosses come up, right? So if you look at 5 minutes, you can see that if you took this death cross, let's say, and I think death crosses I'm probably going to be taking with 100 pips TP, 100 pips stop loss possibly. So ideally for this one, and remember because the way I'm thinking about taking them is using a Telegram to TradingView to MT4 copier. And for that copier, all signals will be taken on impulse. It will not wait for the retest of the 9 EMA. So ideally here, after this death cross was formed, I think this was a news candle. You had to just wait for the retest of the 9 EMA. So for example, here, let's see, I'll backtest and see what TPs and stop losses to use. So for right now, let's say we used a 50 pip TP, 50 pip stop loss. So if you waited for the retest and just entered it manually, right, you could have won that trade. Now, if you took this trade using the copier, you could have gotten stopped out. So this trade, if you're using the Telegram to MT4 copier, you get stopped out on that trade. For this next trade, the key here, the thing with signals, you don't want to take a lot of signals. You want to find few signals that have a high win rate. So for this one, let's see how this one would have gone. This one would have been a death cross. So on impulse, I'm looking at possibly this is a golden cross. So possibly this candle right here. So here you could have ended the day. You got your loss back. And then at that point, you could have been at break even for the day. And then now we have this death cross that's currently forming. So we'll see how this death cross will be. But the key to any signals is to find 1 or 2 good signals a day. And that's why I think if I create signals for death crosses and golden crosses, they will be very valuable because they don't come up that often. Now, the only issue will be during consolidation. So as much as I can give you guys access to all this infrastructure, you also need to check, right? Because if right now the 9 EMA and 200 EMA start crossing over each other, you would, for example, be getting buys here, a sell here, buy here, sell here. Now, the best thing about that is my programmer has that skill of just eliminating signals during when price is squeezing. So I'm pretty sure we can get a good strategy to enter golden crosses and death crosses. Yeah, but I'll work on that after he's done making the strategy for my chart markups. So yeah, so again, this is why I said for this trade, use 0.125% risk. So as not to lose all your profits. So so when I say to use a certain risk, a certain percentage of risk, I know exactly why I'm saying that. So remember, the key thing to take out from this trade, the way it's going right here, remember what we talked about a static trend line. Always identify static trend lines, both on the time frame that you're trading on and higher time frame. That will almost always tell you where price is likely to head to. As much as we got this entry that was valid, that took, that went into profit, keep in mind this trend line, whether it's today and okay, there's this other trend line I remember drawing yesterday. If you guys remember the trend line we were trying to draw yesterday, and I did say whether it was yesterday or whether it was later on, this trend line would get retested. This is the one we were trying, because yesterday the buy that we took was somewhere here. And I did say we are looking for that buy so that it could go ahead and retest this trend line. But when price broke back down, and then we got a sell confirmation or an overall sell confirmation, I still said that, hey, this trend line, whether it was yesterday or whether it's later on, this trend line to the upside will still get retested. So at some point, it doesn't have to be immediately the day you're trading. Eventually, it has to be retested. So knowing that we have these two trend lines, so that's another reason why for this particular trade, I did say 0.125% risk, since we already have a 0.5% win. So overall, I know that to the upside, we have these two static trend lines that still need to get retested. And also, if you look on the hourly, what do we have? We also have this. So this is actually a good thing. I actually prefer to have a lot of trend lines on the hourly because now I can see where price is likely to head. So in any case here, another perfect buy or another good buy that I would be waiting for later on during the day or whenever is a retest of this trend line. Because what this shows you is that if you look to the upside, what do we have? We have two static trend lines that have yet to be retested. This trend line to the downside has not yet been retested. This trend line that's going to the upside that gave us the confirmation to enter the sells yesterday has not yet been retested. But guess what? We have this trend line. I hope this is on the hourly. Yeah, we have this other trend line on the hourly that's from this lower low to this high low, that if it gets retested can give us that move we need to either retest either of these two trend lines. So hopefully that makes sense. So always look at the where you have your static trend lines, and that will almost always tell you what risk do you use for this one trade, and then what other risk do you use for this other trade. Yeah, so EU still ideally in consolidation, but you can see we are in a downtrend for EU. I do not have any blocks around EU for where price is at right now. Gold, I don't have any blocks as well, other than the weekly low, which now the weekly low should be somewhere down here. Yeah. So this is the only trade we are in. And always expect a lot of manipulation around these zones. These daily zones, daily, weekly, and maybe 4-hour zones, expect a bunch of manipulation. The other reason, the other thing for this is that we do have a 4-hour bullish low right here. Horizontal ray, 4-hour bullish low at 33,121. So 4-hour bullish low.
I got a question about structure, if I may ask real quick. Is there a certain process or steps that you go through when you look at, like, pick any pair or whatever and just say, okay, it's at this point of the structure? Like, if you think it's going to continue down more, is it just the most previous, like, low, like when you zoom out, or
Yeah,
how do you identify that?
Yeah, it will always be the because even for order blocks, you always want to look at the most recent one. So for example, if I go to, okay, gold was a good example. So this right here, if I, is this on the 15, I need this 15-minute to close. So if this closes, I will retake my buy and see. Okay, so if I go to gold on the hourly, what do I see? So if I zoom out, I just zoom out, zoom out, zoom out, zoom out like that. Okay, so I'm not interested in this. So this is what I'm interested in. I'm not interested in all of
Okay.
it for now, right? So I'm interested in that. So when gold was here, as much as we had this structure to that, so we had that, I think you saw what I mean. Yeah, but I'm only interested in that. And then if it's complete, right? You see this lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. So that tells you where is the first point it can be, it can complete structure around 1984 area, 1978, which it actually did. Now, if this area now gets broken and gold keeps sinking, then I will bring the other time or the other parts in focus. So do I see gold has already completed? If it keeps dropping, then guess what? I'll expand this and then I'll come in here and then do this, do that, and then do this. And then I'm like, okay, it already completed structure here. Where's the next point? 1950. So I would expect it to go here. And then same thing, right? If it ever breaks that, I would keep zooming away and away and away. So that's ideally how I do it.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
15 minutes. Draw this. Now for this particular trade, 15-minute, I will go for a same thing, 100 pips TP, 100 pips stop loss. So let's see how this goes. Yeah, looks good to me. But we need in 9 minutes for that to close, and I'm almost sure gold might be breaking out, possibly in the 5 minutes. Let's see. Not really. Well, oh well. All right, yeah. So for this one, I'm just following my strategy. get stopped out on the 5-minute, wait for an entry on the 15-minute, get stopped out on the 15-minute, wait for an entry on the next one. So let me actually prepare my account because let's see. See how that goes. Yeah, but I need that signal to close, or that candle with a buy signal to close. Wait. Oh, okay, perfect. So for this one, custom period. Okay, perfect. Just go ahead and prep this. Okay, anyway, we have 7 minutes for that to go. About 7 or so minutes. So let's see, US 30 still out here, almost at our. So this is the reason why risk management is so important, because if you already made, like for me, I already made, what was this trade I made 1%. Oh, did I go for 1%? Yeah. So for me, even though, okay, let me not even go for what I go, because sometimes what I'll go for is not what I say on the live session. So if you made 0.5% on this trade, 0.5% on a 200K is $1,000. And then here I told you to risk 0.125%. If you lose $250, you'll still be up $750. So that's the importance. So always identify this trade that I'm entering, where is price likely to go? So for this trade, we could have easily still risked 0.125%, and guess what? Went with a 100 pips TP, 100 pips stop loss. The only difference would have been, instead of entering whatever lot size would have entered here, the lot size would have been half if we double the TP and stop loss. So always make sure. That's why, and I mentioned this yesterday, sometimes I miss very good trades because I'm out here trying to make sure that I have a set TP and stop loss for any trade. Because like yesterday, if you entered the sell, the buy we took that we got stopped out at for stop loss, and entered it without a TP and stop loss, by the time you had time to adjust TP and stop loss, the trade would have been far past where we had our stop loss set. So ideally, just try to make it a habit. I hope, and I'll never stop insisting on this, because it's one of the things that made me take about 2 years or so to become a profitable trader, because I was always right, always thinking that something is going to come back in my favor. And then I'm like, wait, if I just took the small $1,000 loss, I could have saved my leverage to enter this trade that could have made me 5,000. So just trust in yourself and trust in the strategy that you're taking, and you'll be good. I'm still waiting for this. So you can see right here, what is it doing? Like textbook retest, break and closure above the 9 EMA, which hasn't happened for, this is 1988, for about 100 pips. So if this, I'm almost sure, if this 15-minute candle in the next 5-minute closes below this 9 EMA, this buy might not show up. So let's just see, because the way I've set up the settings, if this, there you go. So you see when it's starting to close below the 9 EMA, the buy signal is disappearing. So for the buy signal to show up, this candle has to close, the consecutive candle has to close above the 9 EMA, which hasn't happened for about 100 pips. So we just got a quick retest of the 9 EMA. So always expect, right? That's textbook. If you get a breakout of a trend line, you normally expect the trend line to be retested. If you get a breakout from the 9 EMA, same thing. You expect a retest to happen. Same thing here with like Euro JPY. Same thing I say about if you're using the breakout scanner. If you get a buy or sell, expect the breakout zone, which is this shaded zones, to be retested, or wait for the 9 EMA to be retested. In this case, it would be, I think, this yellow line right there. But this is, I really don't want to miss this trade if it does come through. See.
Do you place all your trades through your phone on MT4, or do you
No, I never
use a
trade on my
desktop?
phone.
Or?
Yeah, I
Okay.
always trade. Yeah, I always trade. Rarely will I trade on my, I'll only trade on my phone. Maybe if I'm out and I've been waiting maybe for a reversal, and then by the time the reversal is coming, um, I'm outside. But always 90% of my trades are placed on my computer, and 90% of my trades, or 99, will always have a TP and stop loss. Now for the phone, I can afford to not have an immediate TP and stop loss, because if it's for a reversal, more than likely price will be exhausted, and that will give me time to enter into to modify the trade. Yeah, but I try not to trade on my phone.
So do you do them directly through MT4, or do you use some
Yes.
type of software? Like if you have multiple accounts, for example, like would you just go in manually and enter it? Let's say if you wanted to take the same trade on each one, or do you use the trade copier?
So I have a trade manager that sets my TP and stop loss. And then since I have multiple accounts, I have set risk on some of those accounts. I, a month or so ago, I lost my main FTMO account because it was a YOLO account. It was a merged 400 that, I was just going heavy on that account, and I made way more money than I lost. So for that account, I don't copy it to any of my other accounts, because I don't want to end up, and there goes this thing. I really wanted to come back down. I don't want to blow all these accounts. So I told you guys, for me, when I first started becoming profitable, I made a plan. So I have an account for rent, for credit card expenses, for excuse me, for entertainment, for all of that, and then a YOLO account. So for example, the account I have for rent, if I make however much my rent money is in 2 weeks, I turn off that account. That account only runs low risk settings. So maybe it might be 0.1 a day, or 0.2 a day, or 0.5 a day. So however much my rent is, that's it. I don't want to make more. I don't want to make, my rent is not 10,000, and I don't need to make 10,000 a month. Now, same thing. Then there's an account that copies trades to most of my accounts for like 0.5% and such and such. So yeah, I just spread out my risk and just know this account is for this. If you reach your target, whether you reached it on day, if I make my rent on day 1 out of 30, I don't trade that account again until next month. So that's just how I just spread risk. So once you start becoming consistent, I advise you to have multiple accounts. If, for example, your first funded account is after a while, you've gotten a funded account after a year of trying, don't try to make $5,000 a month on that account. Say this account is only for my rent. And then tell yourself, okay, then you say, how much is your rent? I don't know, maybe 2,000, I don't know, 500, whatever it is. Say for this account, to make 2,000 a month, what strategy can I comfortably set this account to run on that will easily give me 2,000 a month? Is it the breakout strategy? Okay, you come in here, say, I'm only going to look, excuse me, I'm only going to look for a breakout entry every day until I get that one entry that makes sense. Excuse me, until I get that one trade that's valid. Then you can either decide, do you want to make 2,000 from one breakout entry, or make 400 from 5 breakout entries across the month, right? So it's just a few ways to help you deal with risk and to help you deal with gaining multiple accounts, so that way you're not really focusing on this one account that you just got. You're focusing on now getting another funded account, and then you're focusing on getting another funded account. So, oh yeah, so, oh my God, give me 1 second. That's a buy with 0.5% risk even on the live session. What do I want to enter? I'm confused now. Give me 1 second. I'm doing and perfect. It's even good that it's coming back down. Hopefully fill me in. And I think that's it, hopefully. Yeah, with this account, because there's one account I'm trying to recover for somebody. Okay, so 100 pips TP, 100 pips stop loss for this trade. Use a 0.5% risk for this trade on gold. Yeah, use a 0.5% risk. Something else. this candle. Okay, so I'll just leave that trade to run. US 30, we are more than likely going to be stopped out of this trade. However, I really don't mind. Oh, also let me enter this on my main account. So I'm actually on phase 2 of my, is it phase 2? Of my other FTM, because I want to max out again. So I already regained 200K. So I'm working on two other 200 two other 100Ks, because max funding on FTMO is 100K. Let me enter this trade on my main account. 1,000. I want to risk this amount. Okay, so I'm in this trade in the accounts that for now can afford to take this trade. Does anybody else have any questions regarding anything that we are going over? All right, so right now, the only trades, we already won this US 30 trade. Give me 1 second. Let me do this. I want to send a quick screenshot in the group for the first trade as well. So that's why I just took it off for now. Okay, and then I'll just put that back. Copy. Also, we have like 13 more minutes before the live session is over. So this is the point. If anybody is struggling with anything or needs clarification on any of the strategies, feel free to ask.
I was going to ask, how's the EA doing on the account that you mentioned you were testing?
Okay, good question. Let me answer that once I'm done with this. Full to your 4. Okay, so let me get you a quick screenshot. So this is, give me 1 second. I go to this. What am I trying to look for? Okay, I'm trying to look for this account. You can see the US 30 chart, right? Or the trading view chart?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What am I trying to do? I'm trying to do, okay, this one. Okay, perfect. Wait, what account is this? No, I'm not, I don't want that account. Let me just get you a screen. Let me share this. I'm just getting a screenshot of that account. So to be honest, it's going well. So it's going great. It's working as I want it to work. Definitely, there's some things that need to be improved. However, they're not deal breakers. Actually, I don't even use them. Wait, I thought that's my password. Oh, okay. Let's see what we have here. Perfect. Okay. So also look at where the account is at today. Okay. Oh, this is what I'm looking for. Screenshot. Okay. This does not even make sense because I'm testing it on this. What am I testing it on? I'm testing it on a 100K demo here. So let me, you know what? I thought there's a way you can share the metric. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to see how you share the metrics on, oh, here we go. FTMO share, copy link to clipboard. Perfect. I think I have this because I would rather share the whole page instead of sharing. Perfect. Instead of sharing screenshots because they don't allow me to move around. Okay. I think that's the same screen I was on. Just 1 second. Hopefully the the trades are doing well. I haven't even, for me, I've learned when I get into a trade, I don't even bother looking at the trade. Just sometimes can mess with psychology. Account metrics. Okay, so this is the account. Okay. So you guys can see this account metrics page, right? All right. So this is so with that EA, because now I'm testing it out, I for now don't want to put it on any live account or any challenge as of yet, which is why I said probably 2 months or so. So this is the growth curve. So I've shown you guys this growth curve on my E8 account on another account. So this is what I want to see, this consistent growth. So excuse me, I started this, where was it, yesterday? The account is up, let's see. The account is up, made 586 day one, which is ideally, remember, for a 100K account, you only need 0.5% a day to pass a challenge in 2.5 weeks. Is it 500 times? No, in 25. Yeah, in about 3 weeks. So today it's up 357. You can see the max loss so far. The max drawdown is 0.61%, about $600. Now for this account, I did say, so previously one change I made, because previously when I also showed you guys the results, I did say I was trading AU, EU, GU, gold, US30, NAS, and Bitcoin. So for this one, I'm doing the one, I call it the one strategy. So one in this, so I'm doing US30, one major pair, I'm doing EU, one, so if you can see the results even, I guess this one doesn't show you the trades that were taken, does it? Nope. Okay. So one major pair, I'm doing EU, one minor pair, I'm doing GJ, one index, I'm doing US30, one crypto, I am doing Bitcoin, and one one commodity, I'm doing gold. So this account is only trading one of the above that I've mentioned. Yeah, so right now it's up 500 or $800 in 2 days. The drawdown right now so far is 0.61%. Yeah, so the EA so far it's doing everything that I've wanted it to do, but I say there's a few tweaks that I've seen. There's one little tweak that can improve the return, and also there's another safer setting to this EA, but I haven't started testing that one out yet. Yeah, but I expect this thing to be ready maybe in 3 or 4 months, because I just need to make sure everything is good. Yeah, but right now so far it's doing as I expected to be doing. And this is a this is a demo. This is not a challenge. It's not a live account. You can see that it's only valid for what, 14 days or so. So yeah, I just want to see how it does, because eventually what I want this EA to do, as much as it can pass a challenge for you, eventually I think the value will be passive income. So 100 a day, $50 a day. That's what, especially because, you know, based on how I've said it, I'm just setting it to go conservative for now. Yeah, but I think eventually it will be just for funded accounts. It will be better for funded accounts, if that makes sense. Yeah, but so far the EA is doing well. So any other questions? It's almost, we have 5 more minutes before this live session ends. So the only trades we are in is this gold buy, 4.5% risk. So this is my second entry for gold, because I got stopped out at this first entry. And then the only other trade we are in is this US30 sell, but for this sell, we are in with a 0.125% risk. So, and we already had one win for today. So far for today, we are up 0.5%. So if we lose the gold trade, we'll just be at break even for the day, and that's it. So remember, you only need 1 or 2 good trades a day. And right now, what I'll then do, I think I'm still. Let me look at one of my main accounts. So far, after that win on gold, I'm up about 1% for the day. So yeah. Does anybody else have any questions? Any questions regarding the times to look out for signals or entries with the breakout scanner? So hopefully you guys are all good on that.
I was gonna ask, how do you juggle all of this? Because I know you said that you're still working. I think the main thing for me is just trying to build some type of routine around the work to make sure everything's still good to go.
So question is how?
Yeah, just how do you build routine around work, and how have you found it? Because obviously you're on the charts quite a lot, and obviously you do the live sessions as well. How do you juggle that with work? Do you have like a specific routine, or is it just you're pretty flexible going along with everything?
So to be honest with you, so one of the major thing, my mentality, I've found that my mentality has been a big driver of the person that I am today. So it might not be directly related to trading, but who I am as a trader. So you guys hear me talking about, even when I post like motivational Mondays, feedback Fridays. So I started like a personal development journey like 10 years ago, like 2014. I was going through some crazy stuff in my life. So I needed to build an armor around my mindset, because I was finding myself like just being around people who live their life working for 30 years, 20 years, getting a mortgage, paying it off for like 40 years. I never really wanted to be that person, because I was like, hey, people, like if you look in the past, you only needed one income in a family for people to survive. So you had either stay at home wife or husband or whatever it is you want to call it. But recently, the income has remained the same, but more and more people are working. So you find more and more people getting trapped in this normal or whatnot. So I found myself just wanting to be outside, finding something that's going to be good or going to give me financial freedom. So before actually trading, I used to be a big investor. So I used to put money in the stock market. Now, when I first started trading or investing in stocks, I invested not in American stocks, in whatever country I'm from, ideally, because so I started following like people like Warren Buffett, and one major thing he said was you need to put your money in an asset that you follow up on. So, when you wake up, what do you read? What news do you, or what do you catch up on? So way back, and I was still new to America. So way back, I used to read news from my home country. So in that case, I was working just retail jobs, and I've always been good at saving money, not really making money. So I've always been good at saving money. So I've always had like a buffer based on the way I was brought up. So I put this money, and it was a good amount of money. It was like, I don't want to say this on the live session because I'll put it on YouTube, but just know it was a good amount of money. So I put it in stocks back home. Now, and I've been meaning to do a video on this for my YouTube. Now, also, guess what? I was also analyzing American stocks, and part of the stocks that I was analyzing, Apple. By the time I was analyzing Apple in 2014, Apple was at $20 a share. I was looking at Tesla. Tesla was at $50 a share. I was looking at Dollar Store. I was looking at Walmart as like a safe haven stock, because Walmart has been there for a while. It doesn't look like it's going to go anywhere by then. So I was looking at all these stocks, and I made a decision to put my money elsewhere instead of the American. And the reason I didn't put it in the American stock market is because I never understood the American stock market. Also, when I compared the value of one stock back home to, for example, one value of the Apple back then, $20 a share, I was like, yo, for that $20 a share, I can get maybe 1,000 shares of a good company back home. Now, to cut the long story short, if I just invested the amount of money that I put in back home just in Tesla and Apple, I would have at least made $10 million in a span of about 5 years or less. Because Apple right now is what, $140 a share. Tesla moved from $50, and during COVID, it went to like $1,000. And I think Tesla underwent 3 splits. So ideally, Tesla would have been or should be about $3,000. So Tesla by itself would have given me like $5 million or something. So I was like, wait, I'm onto something here. As much as I didn't feel bad missing out, I was like, oh, wait, you had seen this happening. So find something else. And this time, don't let it go. So during COVID and all of that, I got into all these cryptos, this penny stocks and all of that. I made a good amount of money, but not as much money as I could have made. And also during 2020, that was when I call it the Great Reset, is when this now mentality that I had for the last 5 years is like, okay, it showed me that as much as you can be safe in a job, something like the pandemic can show up and then you can end up jobless for the next for a good amount of time, because a lot of people ended up getting losing their jobs and getting let go. So I was like, okay, now I need to find something else. Now one of my good friends who's on here, Audrey, so he had started trading with some of his other friends. Now by then I had a negative mindset of Forex, because if you remember, even before COVID, there was a time Forex trading was so huge. But the way it was, and I talked about this in one of the videos I posted on YouTube, I think the Meet the Founder video. So the way people were portraying Forex is that you had to be part of a group. So ideally some sort of multi-level marketing. But most of these groups were pyramid schemes. So I'm not saying multi-level marketing is a pyramid. I'm saying most of this, the way they were operating it, were pyramid schemes, because you were like, okay, bring me 2 people, and then they register with $250 each, and then you have a level. You'll be like a chair lady, chairwoman, or chairman, whatever. So there were levels depending on how many people are in your circle. So for me, because I was good with money and I was good at identifying scams, I was like, oh wait, Forex. I was one of those people who were like, Forex is a scam. However, so what Audrey used to do, he used to send me screenshots every week. He's like, oh, I'm up 2,000, I'm up 3,000. I'm like, hey, let me give you money so that you can trade for me, and then we just split the money. Audrey told me, no, we gotta do this together. So actually my main success, or where I'm in trading, I attribute it to my friendship with Audrey, because he said, no, this is something we have to learn together. So I said, this is what it is. I put in money and the rest is history. So I started trading like November 2020. That's when I first opened my account with forex.com. I did end up making a good amount of money. I put in $15,000, made a good amount of money, but long story short, I ended up blowing $15,000. Because at that point, we were just using signals from somebody else. So somebody would tell us, buy this, we go ahead and buy it, sell this, we go ahead and sell it. No strategy, nothing. We were just using somebody else. And then after that, I ran into another group on YouTube that was live streaming. So that was the first group that I ran into. That person, they taught me a lot. I don't want to name drop for now, but they taught me a lot about prop firms. We never knew about prop firms because we were putting our own money in Hugo's way, in forex.com. So I learned about prop firms, and then guess what? That was the next step of my trading journey. I started doing challenges and challenges. Now, the thing with this person, they were, as I said, they still use that, a negative risk to reward strategy. So they were risking literally 1%, no, 3% to make 1%. So they used to trade US 30. Now, I attribute my success to US 30 to them, because if I never met them, I would not have become good at trading US 30. Now, for a 100K account, for example, they do 100 lots. So they aim to make $1,000, but then they can lose $3,000. So they had a negative. So, and that's another reason why I tell you guys, if you find something with me that's not working, move on and find something, another source of education that's going to give you something that's working. Because for a good amount of time, I stayed with this group for like a year or a year and a half. And their subscription, because for them, they charge for the Zoom session. They charge the Zoom session and they have like only 2 indicators. So only for the Zoom session and the indicators, I was literally paying $200 a month. Leave alone the way I'm showing you guys. For me, the Zoom session, I don't even charge. My cheapest subscription only for the indicators or the charts is only $100 a month. I used to pay $200 every, not that I had a lot of money. I mean, I've always been good at living below my means and managing my money, but I paid $200 a month for like a year and a half. And then at some point I was like, hey, the first funded account I ever got, or the first challenge, was with this group, not that group that I joined. I passed phase 1 and phase 2 just by taking this guy's trades on the live session, but I was over leveraging. And the same way I passed the challenge was the same way I blew the challenge, because nobody ever taught me how. Make sure if you have he did have a set TP and stop loss, but nobody ever prepared me for a negative risk to reward mentality. Because if I lose 3,000, oh, hey, I want to make it back. So I was always over leveraging. I was always doing 100 lots. For you guys who started following me from another group, you can see the times I used to just trade with 100 lots. Nowadays, I do not. And I trade with 20 lots and I make more money than I used to make with 100 lots. So nobody ever taught me, hey, when a stop loss hits, do not adjust it, let it hit. Do not also over leverage. Have a risk to reward of at least 1:1. So I moved away from that group because I found myself, I've been blowing maybe 10 or 15 accounts just by being with them. I wasn't growing. So I found another group still on YouTube. Because the one thing with the YouTube algorithm, it will always give you suggestions based on the things you're watching. So I found this other group, and this group was actually good. They teach you a lot about risk management. They tell you if a trade hits stop loss, let it hit stop loss. So I learned risk management with them, and just by being with them, I found that I stopped blowing accounts. I learned that I saw that I was improving in consistency. And at that point, just by putting all these experiences together, and you're right, I do have also like another job that I do, quote unquote, full-time, if you want to call it that. I found that this is what I want to do for my life, right? So I started putting in more time at trading than I did at my job. Now, the reason for that, I gave myself a goal. I told myself in this year, so last year and this year, I told myself I want to max out funding on all major prop firms. I want to have this community, and then I want to have to develop my own strategies based on what I've learned. So how do you strategize, or how do I plan? So for example, my days used to start at 5 a.m. So I used to go to the gym at 5 a.m. For like an hour and a half. But when I'm building like this community I'm building, I have to work with like 6 different programmers that are in different time zones. So for right now, for example, in the gym, I haven't gone to the gym for like 3 or so weeks. So you have to decide what's important for you, for your future, or where you want to be. So for me, I've seen what trading can do. I've seen the amount of, I don't focus on money. I call it freedom. I want freedom in my life. So I've seen that trading can grant me freedom. So if that's the case, why should that, not to say that I don't do a good job at my actual job. I actually do a good job. But in this other thing, that you know that success is dependent upon how much you can make, I say that I'm going to do whatever it takes. You know, there are days, and I've told you guys, I used to have migraines like 2 or 3 weeks before I went on my previous vacation. I was having migraines because I was spending 20 hours in front of the charts, documenting my strategy so that I can pass it on to the coders and all of that. So what I'll tell you, if you think trading is your thing, or if you think you're interested and you can be good at it, tell yourself this: if I'm putting 8 hours a day for my job consistently, I will put 10 hours in trading. So what that means you'll have to cut down on your sleep schedule. That's number one. Everybody has 24 hours in a day. Then you always have to decide. And same thing I said, once you start getting funded, one way to start becoming a full-time trader, however much money you're making at your full-time job, aim to first make half that amount of money in your first month. So my strategy is I always look at my current job. How much am I making a month? Okay. Then I base my profits based on that. My second one, how many hours am I putting into my job every week? Okay, if I'm to be successful at trading, and if trading is supposed to replace my main job, I need to put 1.5 times those hours. So this is why this is the same thing. I normally hear a lot of, I've heard this before, like sometimes you cannot outwork somebody who puts in 30 or 10 hours a day in trading, like just by putting in 1 hour a day. Like for me, if you try to outwork me, the only way you can outwork me in trading is you put in about 10 hours a day in trading, 10 hours each day. So Monday through Friday, put in 10 hours. Okay, every week, and I always insist this to you guys, find something new to challenge yourself, both in life and in trading. So every week, that's why you guys see me coming out with all this new strategy. We didn't have the breakout scanner 2 weeks ago. We didn't have the EA, or I didn't have the EA 2 weeks ago. So every new week, there's no need, if you've already received feedback on a strategy you're testing, even for some of you who use other EAs out there, every new week, find a new setting to test out on the EA. Go ahead and document that. Take out what's not working. The reason a lot of traders fail is they keep repeating the same things they've been repeating or going through the last 1 month, the last 6 months, because also they don't document. So for me, for example, if I'm using an EA, I know how much of a trend my EA can handle in drawdown. What does that then tell me? The next week, I'll then maybe say, okay, I'm only going to be trading 5 hours. I'm only going to be using the EA for 5 hours a day. So for me, as an example right now, I'm running the EA 24 hours, 5 days a week. I've seen how it's doing, but I'm thinking I need then to run now the EA. Same thing I'm telling you guys, maybe at 9 p.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard. And this is my EA, this is not other people's EA. So then I know this week I have literally 4 different terminals that are testing. One is testing one strategy, one is testing the other strategy, one is testing another strategy. And now that is how then you develop as a trader. And then you start seeing, when you see people make 5,000 a day, hey, you don't know what that person is doing. So find what's important to you. If you think trading is your thing, stick to it, and then use your current job, if you do have one, as a baseline. Or if you're not working, your school work. If you can literally study for math for 5 hours a day and not do the same thing with trading, then maybe trading is not yet your thing. So hopefully, in a nutshell, that breaks down. One day I'll do a vlog on it, but you need to change your mindset, and then you need to outwork your current job or your current school work. So hopefully that makes sense and maybe helps you a little bit. All right. I don't know who asked that. I don't know if it was
Yeah, it
Michael.
does.
Yeah, or Joe.
But,
Okay.
yeah, much.
Yeah. And it's all, and start your day, like every day for me, I start the day listening to motivational tapes. So people like Les Brown, Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins, Will Smith, Steve Harvey. I listen to all of those, and I normally post my favorite ones. So if you go on the Discord in here, if you go to, what is it, mindset, you'll see a bunch that, and even for you, you can, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, right? You can, if you find one that you, and also this one, Never Give Up, this one by William McRaven, Admiral William McRaven. Also this one for Matt McConaughey. And what's the other one? Definitely this one has been a game changer for me. Where's the scroll bar? This one by Admiral William McRaven has been a game changer for me. This one by Steve Jobs, the commencement speech for Stanford, was a game changer. This one by William, what's his name? Matthew McConaughey, amazing one to think about. And also another one, this is a brief one by Elon Musk. Like, I related to this one that time that I was having migraines because of being 20 hours in front of the chart, because he talked, like, literally, if you listen to this, he'll talk about how Tesla and SpaceX almost went bankrupt, but he just, he was working like 20 hours a day, like literally sleeping in the factory and all of that. He was talking about how it affected his physical health and all of that. So I was like, hey, if I'm going through the same thing that Elon Musk went through, like, who am I to stop? So it just shows you literally, like, forget about, I can teach you how to enter based on a candle pattern, but I cannot teach you how to have a strong mindset. Like, that one you have to do by itself. And like, for me, I told you, it started 2014. 2014, each and every day, I listen to motivational videos. Yeah. So
Okay.
just try it. And if not, even though it's not going to help you, or maybe trading is not going to end up being your thing, you will be a much more alert person in life. You'll be different, and you'll find something else that you'll take it and run with it. Like, that I can guarantee you. If it's not trading, like, you'll find something that you'll be good at. Yeah. So for this one, let's just take off the minus 0.125, because that one just hit stop loss. Yeah, so that's the importance of risk management. So what is this? Yeah, but other than that, if anyone has one last question, go ahead and ask. If not, I will see you guys tomorrow. So the return for today is 0.375. So we are still up for the day, because we took this with a smaller risk. Right now, I would wait for US 30 to either retest this trend line to the downside or this trend line to the upside. Right now, we're in no man's land. So you can see we are in between all these static trend lines. So if you box this zone in. We are in between this static trend line here, this static trend line here, and this static trend line here. So I would just wait for US30 to retest one of these trend lines, and then you just wait for a confirmation in whichever direction. Gold, I'm still in this gold trade. So still went into drawdown for now. I'm still going to hold on to it and see how that goes. But other than that, I will see you guys tomorrow for hopefully another good trading day. All right, see you guys.